All right, sorry for the minor delay, but we have no echoes. And let me make sure, yes, we are live streaming on YouTube, so we are good to go. Sorry for the delay.
Okay, I am calling the August 10th, 2022 Rockbridge County Planning Commission meeting to order. And we are going to begin with an introduction of our two newest members.
Yes, happy to announce Mr. Bob Kramer has joined us from the Buffalo District recently in the Buffalo District with the redistricting that we had, and Sean Watkins from the Walker's Creek District. So we're back to a full crew. Happy to have them join us. Thank you.
Great. So now we'll have the roll call. Commission Member Hennis here. Commission Member Kramer.
Here.
Commission Member Lucas.
Here.
Commission Member Whitmore is absent. Commission Member Watkins.
Here.
Okay, important notices. Please take notice that the August 10th, 2022 Planning Commission meeting will be held by electronic means pursuant to the Continuity of Government Ordinance effective April 6, 2022, due to the threats posed by the COVID-19 pandemic to the health, safety, and welfare of the public. While some commission members may participate remotely, staff will be present presenting as normal in the Board of Supervisors meeting room at 150 South Main Street, Lexington, 24450. In addition to citizens attending the meeting in person, citizens have several options to view or participate in the Zoom meeting webinar as described below. We will do our best to take citizen comment remotely. There are two options for citizens to offer comment. One, to join the Rockbridge County Planning Commission Zoom webinar. The link is available on the county website to copy into the address line on your browser. To join by telephone, you may dial into one of the numbers listed on the county website. Webinar ID and password are there for your convenience. Citizens wishing to simply view the meeting live or after the fact can do so on the Rockbridge County Planning Commission YouTube channel, also available on the county website. If you wish to make a citizen comment as a Zoom meeting participant, you will use the raise your hand feature. You can press the raise hand button on the bottom of your Zoom window or press *9 if you're calling in by telephone. At this time, we are going to proceed with the meeting. And first is citizen comments, and this would be on anything that is not on the agenda tonight. Do we have any citizen comments?
No one has signed up.
And do we have any written comments?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Okay, anyone wishing to make a comment by Zoom or by phone?
No, ma'am.
Okay, I'll move on to the approval of the July 13th, 2022 minutes. I believe we've all discussed that we've reviewed these. So we need a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And it is approved. So now we're going to move on to board reports. Staff, if you will give us the Board of Supervisors, TCO, and BZA reports.
Yes, the TCO nor the BZA met in July at the July 25th, 2022 Board of Supervisors meeting. We essentially had 3 action items for the planning and zoning related material. Y'all may recall that the Central Shenandoah Planning District Commission had recently, I think it was May of 2022, completed a Route 11 pedestrian study for some proposed sidewalks on Route 11. And I'm happy to report that they sort of spearheaded a smart scale application, which is a 2-year cycle, 100% through VDOT funding. And smart scale is a VDOT program that the locality can apply for or the regional planning district commission. So we talked to VDOT, and VDOT thought that it'd be a better application if the Central Shenandoah Planning District Commission had made that application. So as one of 4, it doesn't, you may recall, it goes from the essentially the existing sidewalks to the Walmart / Valley Pike area. The one that hasn't been applied for smart scale would take it from the current Termini College Square shopping center to the Greenhouse Road Econo Lodge parcel. And so with that being said, if we're successful with that one in 2 years, we'll fund the next phase or next 2 phases, if you will.
What is the amount? Is there an amount that they?
It was a pretty large amount. If you remember, that amount was in the original pedestrian improvement plan, and it was more than I even anticipated. When we first started the project, I think I was told it was $1 million a mile, which I thought that was a pretty shocking number. But then when we did the nuts and bolts, it was, I believe that was a fairly low estimate. And there's more to go to it than framing and concrete. There's utility work and that type of thing. To answer your question directly, I don't recall the exact amount, but essentially what the board did was the city of Lexington did the same thing, was approved a resolution in support of the smart scale application. So that was submitted on August 1st. It was a complete application. There's a scaling process. So we'll find out within, I think, 6 months or so.
And is it supposed to cover the whole cost?
Well, it is 100% funding from,
Okay.
yeah, unlike there's other revenue sharing, there's other VDOT funding mechanisms. That's a 80-20 match, 50-50, whatever it may be. But with smart scale, it's actually 100%
Wow.
funding.
Okay.
So we're thankful for that.
Great.
So
Thank you.
that was a resolution. And then they had 3 bona fide public hearings, one on the Buffalo Creek Boys School, one on the St. George's Classical Academy, and one on the Castle Christian School. They approved all of those essentially as recommended by the supervisors. They did make some modifications to the conditions on Buffalo Creek and St. George's and extended those essentially from K to 12, kindergarten to 12th grade, and a maximum of 25 students, but kept CCS Castle Christian School K through 12 at 50 students. So there were some slight modifications. There was also some modifications made to the approval contingent upon X, Y, and Z, which I can review. Our draft conditions associated with the school tonight have been modified based on the supervisor's last discussion.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so now we have Natural Bridge Christian Fellowship doing business as the Bridge Christian Academy, 21 Gilmore Mill Road, Natural Bridge Station, Virginia, 24579. Application for special exception permit, private school in the general residential R1 zoning district. Now the staff and applicant will do their presentation.
Yes, bear with me here. I have a very brief PowerPoint presentation before I turn it over to the applicant. All right, this is a special exception application from the Natural Bridge Christian Fellowship doing business as the Bridge Academy. As far as the location itself, the property under consideration is owned by the Natural Bridge Christian Fellowship, comprised of 2 tax parcels. The first one and larger one being 113E1-1-B3, and the smaller, and I'm actually going to turn this into a laser pointer, bear with me here. Both of them are outlined in orange. And I can get rid of this for y'all. A great place to put it. Both of them are outlined in orange. The larger parcel is identified again as 113E1-1-B3, and the second smaller parcel here is identified as 113E1-1-B4. So as far as the total acreage, the both tracts together consist of approximately 7 acres. And again, it's very unusual for us to say approximately, but the large parcel does not have any acreage associated with it because of the taxes. That's tax exempt. My understanding is tax exempt, so it's actually zeroed out. But the GIS essentially tells us this shape is about 6.5 acres. And then this one does have some deeded acreage associated at 0.442 acres. So again, total of about 7 acres per GIS. Property located and is surrounded by the general residential zoning district. That's the R1 zoning. A little bit about the special exception proposal itself. Per section 604.03-4 of the regulations, private schools are used by special exception in the R1 zoning district. The applicant, Natural Bridge Christian Fellowship, again DBA as the Bridge Christian Academy, has made an application for a special exception to operate a school in the residential zoning district R1. The school plans to utilize the existing property for the proposed private school. Very similar to other applications that we've recently reviewed. These are draft conditions that could be utilized for the conditions associated with the special exception permit. Number 1, school facility is limited to existing buildings and surrounding surrounding property for outdoor activities. Number 2, total number of students not to exceed blank, and I left that blank for discussion purposes. I believe the current proposed enrollment for this year is 30 to 35 students. So during the discussion, we can talk about what that blank number is. Number 3, the school will be limited to day students only, no boarding students. Number 4, the school will be limited to kindergarten through 12th grades. Number 5, all trash will be taken directly to the landfill and not county collection centers or county green boxes. Number 6, lighting shall be in compliance with section 1303 of the County of Rockbridge Land Development Regulations. And number 7, approval contingent upon Virginia Department of Transportation, Health Department, Building Department, and the Rockbridge County Office of Fire Rescue and Emergency Management approval and compliance with the Department of Education requirements. So you may recall in the board reports, I said that the Board of Supervisors had slightly modified that condition. So going into the recommendations that y'all had done with the other 3 private schools, it was just approval contingent upon all of these agencies. And during that discussion, it was essentially determined that it'd be better language in the ordinance that compliance with the Department of Education requirements. And so the requirements that I understand through DEO, Department of Education, are attendance records and immunization records. So there's really not bona fide approvals until you get into be accredited private school. But in this particular case, we felt it would be proactively modify those conditions based on the board discussion. With that, I'd like to turn the floor over to Mr. Wes Galeford, pastor at the Natural Bridge Christian Fellowship, and also the current principal at the Bridge Christian Academy. So let me stop sharing and turn the floor over to him to review additional details of the project or answer any questions that the Planning Commission may have.
I am Pastor Wes Galford, and I sincerely apologize to you guys for not following through with this procedure. The truth is I didn't know it even existed until about a month ago or a couple weeks ago. So the real reason is to ask the question, why do we have a school? I want to give you just a little bit of a backstory. We've actually been open for 2 years now. Our first year was in aid of COVID relief to families in our community. We opened up our facility to many students that needed Wi-Fi, structured environment, aid with virtual schooling, families that needed a place for their child during the day. This past year, we opened the academy with 24 students. And the 2022-2023 academic year looks as if we're going to have around 35 students. But this still doesn't answer the question, why do we have a school? The reason that we now have a school comes from my own personal convictions. Again, I want to stress that we are not in competition with anybody, including the public school systems. And matter of fact, we have a good working relationship with Natural Bridge Elementary, which is right across the street from us. Have tremendous teachers that we work with as well. I'm not in that arena to pick that fight, okay? The reason that we do is truly, I graduated high school without the ability to read. This was devastation to my young life. I was told all my life that I was dumb, never amount to anything, that I'll always be a ditch digger. When praying before my first sermon, God supernaturally gave me the ability to read. Since that time, God has granted me the ability to acquire an associate, bachelor, and now a master's degree. I truly stand before you as the least of these. However, during the pandemic, God gave me a deep conviction over the students that were attending the Learning Center at that time at Natural Bridge Christian Fellowship. I see many of these students were struggling with emotional, psychological, spiritual, and educational needs. I felt that after a year and a half of being out of school, that students would have a great social anxiety. At this point, I felt that God was leading me to open a Christian school where we could help meet just a few of those needs in our wonderful county. The why is truly the students. In the last year, we've seen all of our students flourish. Their character has changed for the better at school and also at home. The students all scored above national average in their testing. All of our students have had a 90% or above, except one student who missed it by half a point. while we hold academics as a very high standard, we also promote Jesus even higher. The most exciting time for our students is not in the classroom. It isn't physical education or even lunch, but it's our chapel services. This coming year, our academics will continue to strive for excellence. We will be the elite educational facility that operates in excellence of God. We are currently seeking national accreditation and will achieve it over the 2022-2023 academic year. Our students will continue to develop in their personal relationship with Jesus Christ as they serve Him, their family, their church, their school, and their community. We plan monthly trips where students will have opportunity to visit local nursing facilities to sing and interact with the residents, work in local church to feed the community, serve in local food pantries to give a helping hand, and to continue to give back as God has so graciously given to us. TBCA is building the success of tomorrow as we build hope to our community today. We're shaping the future generations to make a positive impact on our local community, state, nation, and I truly believe all around the world. Thank you so much for your valuable time.
Thank you. Do you all have any questions before he? Okay, if we come up with any, we'll let you know.
Right.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to open the public hearing. Is there anyone physically present who would like to speak?
There's no one signed up, but we don't recognize anyone at this time.
Okay, anybody want to speak? Okay, I think we all know where you guys all stand, so that's great. We'll now take comments by computer and phone.
We have no attendees and I am the only panelist.
Okay.
And as far as question answered, we have no questions answered either.
And no written comments.
No written comments, no ma'am.
Okay. With no further comments, the public hearing is closed and we will bring it back to the board to take any questions, concerns, comments for the applicant.
Chris, the one thing I've got, seems like they've been operating for 2 years and we've had no negative feedback.
That's correct. Yes,
I
sir.
mean, they're kind of flying on the radar. Had they not decided to come and do it the right way, they could have flown on the radar probably for a long time with no negative comments. So,
We have not received any comments of support or opposition. Of course, we, in order to hold the public hearing we did certified mail to all the adjoiners, which were quite a few of them, post property, newspaper advertisements, that type of thing. So no, sir, we have not had any comments.
but that's a good thing. That's good.
Are you all providing lunch? How's that working? So everybody's just bringing lunch with them? Okay.
I am food safe certified, but we do not. Everybody at this time is packing.
Okay. And the teachers, are they licensed, accredited? What's the status right now?
Oh my goodness, we have a dream team.
I read about them a little bit there, so.
Yeah, so
Sounds good.
yes, they are,
Uh-huh.
and very
It should
fully
help with the
accredited.
accreditation, with the
Yeah.
national accreditation. Right.
Their resumes are miles long. It's
Okay.
phenomenal. I don't know how in the world, as a Christian school, we've acquired such wonderful help. So, and as you have read, my assistant administrator is Charity Rockbridge, who holds a master's of education. Phenomenal, absolutely wonderful lady. And Jen Carlucci is also absolutely phenomenal. So
Thank you.
Hang on for a spot.
One more.
You're sitting here looking at between 30 and 35 students this year.
yes, sir.
And what the facilities you got, how many students could you have, and what do you anticipate in the future?
I think we put 50 on the paper. Is that what we put, was 50?
I don't believe we did put a number. We had discussed, some numbers during our preliminary meeting, but I'm not sure any numbers were.
And isn't there
included.
like a certain number of acres that you can have, like with a certain number of kids? I feel like that might be something out there.
It's not necessary. To answer your question, I don't believe it has anything to do with the acreage, but it's definitely minimum square footage, as far as the maximum occupancy code, that type of thing.
Facilities. Yeah.
Our facilities is pretty massive. I would welcome any of you guys to come walk through and see our setup. We are shooting for 35. I had envisioned 50 for this year. We probably going to fall a little short from that. I do believe that we're going to reach it in the next year or so. So we would plan to come back and revisit this with you guys and say, hey, guys, we're growing and this is what it looks like. At that time, I would go back to the health department and everybody else and have them to come in and make sure that everything's up to snuff with that too.
So we would put 50 in
that's
for
what I-
today.
That's what I was thinking. That,
Okay.
that'll should cover you.
Gives you a little bit of room.
Yeah, they need some room to grow, and, you know, if they're going to 35 this year, it might be 40 couple. So you got a few years to get to 50. So,
Yes, sir.
and it's all just going back.
Great, thank you.
And
Question?
then it's K through 12, correct?
Yes, sir.
So what, currently, what age, I mean, do you have a,
K through 12, sir.
okay, so.
It's
so all
crazy.
Varies a whole.
It is. And
So how does that work for you when you got, and maybe this is just me wondering, I guess, but say you have one senior, one freshman, one eighth grade, and I'm just using, you know, what public schools would.
sir, I am,
How do you go about making sure that each student's getting that required classroom?
I am so glad you asked that question. For me, I was left behind because I learned differently. In our classrooms, our students are not asked to adapt to the teacher, but the teacher to the student. So they literally have one-on-one teaching per subject and or in small groups. So we develop our teachers to meet the need of the student. Again, I will say that every single one of our students has had this past year a 90% or above, except for one, and they missed it by 0.5%. Coming in, it was difficult to learn the different learning style, and that the students had that little oof moment of saying, oh my, but once they realized that they have a search engine in their brain and it kind of begins to make things click for them, our teachers come along beside them, encourage them. They have words of affirmation every day. If they have a trouble, sit down and it's one-on-one. Our students absolutely love it. And we have a couple here if you want to hear from one of our students. I mean, it's
Right.
No, that was, thank you.
yes, sir.
What range around the county or even Botetourt County do the students come from?
I'm sorry.
They all Rockbridge County
they all
students, or are they
Rockbridge
coming
County
from
radius?
other areas? We're just trying to figure out where the kids are
At
coming
this
from.
point, every student that we have except for one is Rockbridge County. We have them coming from as far as Fairfield and Buchanan.
Mhm.
Yes, we have one from Buchanan, right? One from Buchanan, but they come always north as for Fairfield, and we have some from Buena Vista. We have any from Kerrs Creek, Rockbridge Baths, but that's about it, sir.
Okay. Any other questions?
Good.
Y'all feel good? Okay, thank you.
Y'all
Appreciate
let me
it.
off that easy.
We're letting you off
Oh,
that
yeah.
easy. Yeah, you gave a great, presentation, and you gave lots of information in your application. So we appreciate that. So anything else you all need to discuss?
No.
Pretty clear cut here. If you can work for two years and nobody knows you're out there, that's a pretty good, it's pretty good affirmation there. Okay, so I'm gonna hand it to you, Robert, if you want to do the,
Oh, yeah, we'll take care of this.
uh-huh.
I'd like to make a motion to recommend the Board of Supervisors that the special exception permit to operate private school in a residential district R1 zoning district per LDR section 604.03-4 and existing facilities of Natural Bridge Christian Fellowship at 21 Gilmore's Mill Road, Natural Bridge Station identified as tax map number 113E1-1-B3 and 113E1-1-B4 in the Natural Bridge Magisterial District be approved with the following conditions. 1, school facility limited to existing buildings and surrounding property for outdoor activities. 2, total number of students not to exceed 50. 3, school will be limited to day students only, no boarding students. 4, school will be limited to kindergarten, K through 12 grades. All trash shall be taken directly to landfill, not to county collection centers or county green boxes. 6, lighting shall be in compliance with 1303-00 Rockbridge County Land Development Regulations. 7, approval contingent upon Virginia Department of Transportation, VDOT, Health Department, Building Department, and the Rockbridge County Office of Emergency and Rescue and Emergency Management approvals and compliance with the Department of Education requirements.
And do we have a second?
Second.
Second. And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And motion passes. Good luck.
Good luck.
So our next step is with the Board of Supervisors on, that was in the notice of public hearing, obviously, but while we're all here. Confident was it package, but next one is with that they have made a recommendation to approve with the following conditions, obviously, and the next one, Monday, August 22nd, at meeting starts at 5:30, but the public hearings are at 6 or after. So essentially 6 o'clock on the 22nd, Monday. The same place, same format. Yes, ma'am. Yep. We appreciate y'all's
No
time.
complaints. So,
Thank you, Ian.
Yeah, same format. Yes, sir. Great.
Yeah, take care.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I don't know.
Good question.
Calling you
didn't know
next.
how
You're
to
at all
say-
the meetings. You can come next time.
He didn't know how to say no.
That's right.
That's what happens.
All right, so I knew we had a light agenda, obviously, with one public hearing. We're very, very thankful for one public hearing when we've had, minimum of 3. And sometimes I think we had 7 one month. So in the very recent future. So I did feel like it'd be beneficial to put on the continued discussion of the comprehensive plan. Unfortunately, I do not have much prepared for y'all at all. Right before the meeting, or maybe an hour ago, I did send y'all, each of the planning commission members, a link to the current comprehensive plan that's available on the website. So if y'all could, as far as running through the table of contents briefly, it runs through history, natural environment, population, government, economy, housing, transportation, and community facilities, and then the land use chapter. Generally speaking, the land use chapter, as far as mapping goes and those type of things, land use goals is a lot of the focus for the planning commission. But with that being said, what I'd like to do is essentially take the next month to be associated, get familiar with the comprehensive plan, and then start not tracking suggested edits, but essentially get familiar with the plan, see the nuts and bolts of it, and then obviously continue this discussion in the foreseeable future. Our goal is essentially to have a updated comprehensive plan adopted sometime in 2023. So, I say that like it's very far off, but here we are going into September meeting, obviously. So essentially, homework for the month would be get acclimated with the existing comprehensive plan and talk about it next
How does
month.
that work? Well, I mean, what does that look like? We look at the comprehensive plan, make some recommendations, or are we going to have work groups?
Yeah, I foresee having work groups. So in the past, when we updated the comprehensive plan in 2016, we really didn't do much of a road show, if you will. So I would foresee, and I know the supervisors are very interested in having as much public input as possible, because that obviously the communication factor is critical through the process. And so I would anticipate having essentially 5 public meetings, one in each magisterial district, as far as once we get the draft going, or throughout the process, I should say, having those public meetings in each magisterial district at firehouses or
I
community
remember we
centers.
did one when they were talking about what they were going to do with the VDOT property over near Maury River. And I just happened to be involved in it because I'm a realtor, but that was actually kind of cool. They had it at Lilburn, they had it out, had tables out, and they just put us in different groups, and we all kind of sat down and, used big paper and wrote down ideas for what we thought should happen, sort of what we felt like, needed to be addressed over there and things like that. And it was kind of a nice thing because, you had groups of people and then you brought it all together, and it was interesting to see the common themes that a lot of people talked about.
Certainly. And I'm safe to say you're required to have a bona fide public hearing. And of course, at the end of the community meetings, we would have a bona fide public hearing, make a recommendation to the Board of Supervisors. Then I believe you have a Board of Supervisors public hearing as well. But long before then, I would anticipate several public meetings, whether that's
Those public
once.
meetings are led by the Board of Supervisors or by the Planning Commission?
I would say by the planning commission, as far as the planning commission is required to review essentially review and update the comprehensive plan and make suggestions to the board of supervisors. So I think it's going to be in conjunction with both. But with that being said, I think the Office of Community Development and the planning commission would be a critical role in that, obviously.
Okay.
So the hearing would be, we'd have a draft of the updated.
Yes,
comprehensive
once you have a bona fide public hearing, you would have a draft. You would have a solid format draft to take to public hearing essentially. But prior to in developing that draft is the critical component would be the public input.
Yeah, I've been on a lot of strategic planning things, so I just remember all that, that was so important to get as much input as you could, and then kind of figure out what those themes are that you keep reading and they keep showing up. And
Yeah, and I agree.
those
And we
things.
did do that. We had many what we called road shows during the 2008, which is hard to say out loud nowadays, the countywide rezoning. When we developed sliding scale zoning, developed the agricultural transitional zone, reduced development rights in certain area while keeping the status quo in others and making the growth zones, obviously. And in that case, we did multiple meetings in each magisterial district and one final public hearing in the high school auditorium, you may recall. And that was, well attended on that one. And I'm hoping the same for this. I really am.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions from you guys about what we're looking at? I think just get familiar with that. That'll be our homework. And
Yeah, I think that, another thing,
time.
another thing y'all could do, and I've started doing this as well, is look at other localities' comprehensive plan, what information they have in there, what information they don't have in there. Ours is very thorough, comparatively speaking from others, what I've seen from other localities. So it would be interesting to get that vantage point
We
as
have
well.
help gathering that information about population and all that kind of
Oh,
stuff.
absolutely.
or,
Yes.
you
Yeah.
know,
That part would not be on the planning commission at all. We have budgeted last year and we have budgeted this year help from the Central Shenandoah Planning District Commission. That's the district planning commission that I was referring to earlier that made the smart scale application. They have a long list that they serve many localities. But they have a long list of people that reached out to them, including us, of desires for assistance on updating comprehensive plan.
I
So
wondered if it was like, where you hire a firm that comes in and helps you with all that, or
others definitely do. In this particular case, I'm thinking hopefully we're going to do a lot of it in-house, and hopefully we're going to do a lot of it through conjunction with the Central Shenandoah Planning District Commission. We staff have not started researching other private planning firms that do this type of business as
So y'all
well.
have so much on your plate and so few of you.
Yeah,
So-
no, and I do apologize because I was hopeful to dive into more and comprehensive plan, and here we are at 7:35, not knowing what to do with ourselves.
Right.
But it is nice to have a early Wednesday every now and then.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. So
It's been a long time.
it has been, yes.
So they're not
Thank
all
you.
like this.
They are not all like this. So don't
So
yeah,
hard
Mr.
about
Bergman,
this.
Mr. Watkins, don't get accustomed to this.
Oh, just wait.
Yeah, we usually set the doors to open at 6:30, and I think we set them to lock at 9:30. Tell you the truth, and so I'm gonna have to go up there and figure out how to lock the doors early, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
See, I know what we can do now. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
There you go.
Second, all in favor? Aye.
There
And
you
we're
go.
out.
Appreciate it, and again, welcome Bob and Sean.
Yeah.
We're gonna run while